Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Unfiltered WJPE. I'm your host, Patrick.
I'm Joe. How you doing this week, Patrick?
Had to deal with some shit. How's your week?
You had to deal with some shit?
Yeah. Coincidence enough, after the video we made last week of talking about AT&T Internet and shit like that, I actually said in that episode that I was locked in at a $47 a month plan, pretty much. And a couple of days after we finished recording that episode and midway through editing it, my bill came in for the end of the month. And they tried charging me $80 for that shitty internet. So this whole week's been nothing but getting my internet replaced with Spectrum.
But that's good, though, because we talked about that shit.
And it's just like I said. I am now paying, instead of $47 a month, I'm paying $49.99 a month. That's after taxes and everything. They said it was 100 megabytes per second internet-only plan. And I'm receiving around 100, if I run hardline.
All right, let's not get technical. Just say, hey, Patrick, are you getting
fast.
double your internet for the same price?
It's way more than double. It's like 6 times the speed I was getting.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm getting now. I'm running 117, 118 megs per second average.
With the
a
same
12 and a half upload. So.
With the same provider that we have at the studio, right?
Correct.
But now you're actually getting more than we're doing at the studio, correct?
Correct.
So what does that mean, Patrick?
It means
we got a call about the studio.
Yep. So we're gonna probably have a maintenance guy come out here and have Spectrum give a little fine tuning in the system to make sure everything's working properly here.
Fine tuning's fine, but
fine tuning always.
We're still doing good.
Yeah, everything's working. It would be nice for when we start doing live stream broadcasts, for when we get the telephone in here for the viewers to start calling in while we're recording.
Oh, so
we're going to need that internet connection for that. But
I'm really excited about getting the live viewers in.
Oh, I can't wait for it. But we gotta get a fan base started, so it's up to you, the viewers, to help us.
I thought we had a fan base.
We're building there.
Then who's watching us right now?
People.
But they're our fans, right?
Correct. We need to build a fan base. Continue to expand.
So maybe we need that phone line.
Yeah, not yet.
Alright, so today is Saturday the 4th.
August 4th.
August 4th.
2018.
Correct.
And guess what?
Chicken butt.
Trump's still amazing.
Oh yeah, Trump's my president.
Yeah. I didn't look into it at all or anything, but did you hear anything about him coming to Tampa last week?
No. I've actually been working so much this week that I have not followed one political fucking shit going on.
Yeah.
Even though they had another live Trump thing about a I don't know, something today. And I started playing it, and I was so busy at work because it's my on-call weekend because I work. Anyway, I was so busy today, I played it over the speaker while I was working, and I couldn't pay attention to anything that was going on.
I hear you.
I'm lucky I made it to the show today.
Dealing with work and that whole internet thing all week, and I hadn't been paying attention to anything.
But now that I pulled my almost 60 hours this week, cheers. This is almost gone. This is number 3.
Number 3, nice. Getting started a little bit late today. Still my first beer. We'll get there, though.
It's been a rough week.
Should be about, 5, 6 by the end of the episode.
But you know what?
Uber ride.
Even though it's been a rough week, you know what, Patrick? I'm still an American and Trump's still my president. And I'm still paying my bills. What?
Man, you never seen that Dave Chappelle episode where they talk about the news reporter where he puts on whiteface and acts like a news reporter, and they're talking about the.
You want to talk about Dave Chappelle? Ku Klux Klan Dave Chappelle?
I don't want to talk about that skit he did.
It was a skit that he did.
Correct. It was funny for all of Americans everywhere.
So you don't want to talk about it?
Nah.
Okay, fine. Whatever, dude.
That, you know what I'm saying?
So how did Dave Chappelle go from being the skinny dude to 6 months later being bulked up Dave Chappelle? How does that happen?
He bulked up a little bit. Still got that same face, though.
So he went to Africa.
Went to Africa, got fat, and then got muscular. That's kind of not what you'd expect on somebody going to Africa. I
didn't see him get
You'd be
fat.
like, oh, so he's going to get skinnier, is what you're saying.
I didn't see him get fat, but he did fucking put on some muscle.
Yeah.
How's that work?
He's ripped. He hadn't done enough, or he hasn't worked with Comedy Central's since what, the early 2000s?
Yeah, I don't know the dates.
Something like that.
But he's back doing something.
Yeah, he's just doing stand-up. He's just going around doing freelance, whatever he feels like doing. He walks
but my Dave Chappelle is skinny pothead's Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, he was in his prime back then. He's got a different tone of humor nowadays, it seems like.
But what happened there?
I don't know.
I don't know what happened there either, but...
Well, you got to think about it. He's mostly doing stand-up comedy now. So back then, it was his show where he's able to like think about it and coordinate it, get a script together, get those little skit videos.
He walked away from the show.
It's like, what do you remember most about the old Dave Chappelle? The skits, right? He can't do that during stand-up comedian hours because what he's doing is just going to random venues, not letting them know. He just goes there and is like, "Hey, do you mind if I get on the mic tonight?" Kind of deal.
You're saying he's just getting back to his roots?
Not really. He's just doing it as he pleases with no managers and stuff like that, from my understanding.
But why did he walk away from a $50 million deal?
Think about it. I mean, what kind of a person could walk away from that much money? Because unless they've already got way more than that.
Or maybe they just don't like the fucking industry.
Well, that and like I can respect what he was saying when they asked him that a lot, because he was saying that the show wasn't really going in the direction he visioned the show to go anymore. It started dying off. Like, he even said that there shouldn't have been a second season. I liked the second season, but, you know, he never wanted the third season, from my understanding.
I miss the old Dave Chappelle.
The old Dave Chappelle.
But shit happens. We don't know what goes on, or maybe we do. I don't know, but, yeah, whatever.
Oh, so... recap of last week, you told me to watch a movie, Extinction. I went back and watched that on Netflix.
Oh, did you watch that?
Yeah, I watched it. And it's like you said, it was creepy the way they portrayed it. Like, huge spoiler alert.
Fuck the spoiler.
Because now that I've seen it, he didn't spoil it for me, so, you know, that's
Spit it out there. Spit it out there. The fucking movie.
But it was kind of fucked up how they portrayed it. You didn't find out till like the end almost that the AI thought they were humans.
Yeah.
The entire time.
Yeah.
All the way until his wife died, and then the so-called alien invader that was dressed in a weird suit, he took off his helmet. He looked human, but he wasn't speaking and stuff like that. And then finally he's like, you know, as a survival instinct of any human, he's like, oh, you know, I can help her survive to what you need if you let me live, kind of a deal. And he fucking cuts her open and she's a fucking robot. He's like, what the fuck? And then he's like, yeah, you need to pull out your power source and give it to her.
Who gives a fuck about that?
He fucking cuts his own chest open and fucking pulls it open. And he's like, oh my God. It's like, what the fuck?
All right, fuck all that. So
dude, it's wild.
Basically, that was a straight AI propaganda preparation movie.
Well,
I was so pissed.
What's kind of freaky about that is what we were talking about in earlier episodes. The AI. They got it to where you can download your consciousness, and that's what I was getting at with a robot thinking it's you. Like you're putting your consciousness into a machine.
No, that robot thinks it's human. It doesn't think it's you.
No, it thinks it's a human that is you, because it's your consciousness, your will, your decision-making skills, and all that is put into that machine. So it would be like you going to sleep, and then they're transferring it over there and copying it, and then you would wake up, and it would be just like you woke up in your real body, but you'd be waking up in that body, and you'd be like,
yeah,
what the hell?
And fuck that.
Yeah, it was like that.
This was
one of Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Like,
no,
you remember that one with the fucking eye scanner with the helicopters that could fold back the wings and turn into jets? The 6th something day.
Yeah, who cares?
It was something about like the count for the clones was like underneath their eyelids, the little dots.
All right, well let's move back to this movie. It was a straight motherfucking propaganda movie. Okay.
I thought it was more of like, remember the old Twilight Zone show?
No. It wasn't Twilight Zone. It wasn't shit. So They're going to sit there and prep you.
Well, that script is almost directly from one of those Twilight shows from back in the old sci-fi days on TV. It was like a modern version of one of those.
Dude, it was a propaganda movie.
You can look at it like that. I can see that.
Okay, so this artificial intelligence is going to think that they're fucking real. We don't need that shit, dude. They're not real.
That's what I said.
They don't need to exist. We don't fucking need that.
AI is okay, but AI with limitations to where they bend.
We don't need robots.
We can control computers. As soon as computers have the ability to control themselves and functioning other aspects in the real world, then we have fucking problems. And you got Skynet Terminators happening and fucking...
That's exactly what this movie is. We don't need fucking robots.
Yep. I don't like the idea of conscious robots walking around like that.
That's what this movie is.
Yep.
They're fucking consciously fucking blah, and they think they're what's right in this world.
They actually ran the humans off the world in that movie, too.
Exactly.
I figured you would be all over that part.
And that's what I'm saying. It's a propaganda piece of shit movie.
And
I'm fucking tired.
Was the humans coming back to Earth.
Tired of seeing straight propaganda in every motherfucking movie I watch, bro.
Yep.
And it's in everything. I'm getting pissed. That's why I'm just going to stock up on these fucking tasers and batteries, and I'm just going to fucking jolt the fuck out of every one of them who comes near me, dude. I'm going to fry their circuits.
Just make it like a taser knife, something.
Exactly.
Some kind of prod you can shove into it, and then it send off a high electrode.
There's no way we can let this shit happen.
Yeah.
Because literally, if that fucking happened...
I wonder, maybe somebody that's watching would be able to answer it in the comments.
Well, they're gonna...
Is there any laws about killing somebody else's robot? Like, if somebody creates a robot, an artificial robot, and it tries to harm me, or it's a duplicate of me, can I kill a clone robot of myself? I don't
even want to know if it tries to harm me. If it tries to be a fucking person or fucking be near me, I want to fucking electrocute the piece of shit.
Yeah, like... Pretty soon, these things are going to have rights and shit like that. Like,
that's what they were trying to say. They have fucking rights.
Fucking scary.
They have no fucking rights. It's an inanimate object.
They're going to vote us right off this fucking planet. It's what it's going to do.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. We can't even get to the point where they have a fucking right. They don't have a fucking right.
Yeah.
We're fighting over fucking illegal immigrants right now.
10 years ago, you said the same thing about transgenders. They would never have rights, but look at today. I mean, that's what's scary about
There are no specific transgender rights. They're still arguing over the bathroom bullshit.
Okay, well, let's go with homosexuality.
Hey, let's just have individual fucking bathrooms. One person goes in the bathroom and they fucking lock the door. How about that?
Well, homosexuality...
Because I'll be honest, when I go into the bathroom, I want to poop by myself.
Like, think about it. With I mean, God, I hate going down this road because you might get in trouble, but when homosexuality came about, it was like, once that started to get accepted into society, like, that is what I look at, like, the AI thing. And then, all of a sudden, after they get accepted in society, and then they start this path of, right after that, I'm not going to say they started it, but right after that, all of a sudden, people's getting, simply offended in society by what other people say is now a criminal act. You can get in trouble for offending somebody with your freedom of speech.
Oh, no, I have freedom of speech. So I'm not going to get in trouble for saying...
That's why it scares me with another branch of that branching off in the AI platform. So if AI comes about, and then they start talking about AI rights...
AI don't have rights.
Oh my God, that's when the American people need to stand up and start going on robot killing.
Oh no, American people and anybody across the world needs to stand up before these fuckers even get these rights. And yeah, you could research online, you could look it up. They have these fucking robots, they have these AI functioning in society in other countries. But
the ones in California, have you seen them?
Nope.
They had like the synthetic skin and shit like that.
Same thing, Japan, China.
They're born in like these body bags that look like the blood tubes you see in the hospitals where the bags of blood come in.
I don't know what the fuck you're
It's
watching.
like a person sealed in that.
I have no idea what the fuck you're watching.
It's the University of California where they invented the first AI synthetic looking.
But that's what I'm saying, dude. If I ever run into like that, which I bet there should be no reason I ever run into a artificial intelligence robot that looks like a human. I mean, the first thing I'm going to do is find a way, or like, how do I get rid of it? How do I kill it? How do I stop it right where it's at?
Well, as soon as that comes out, it's the start of us no longer being top of the food chain. And that's where a lot of my great concerns come into play.
Well, there have been...
look at every species that's dropped off of the top of the food chain.
Never let it get to the point where they have any fucking human rights. And I said human rights because we're still having issues with fucking...
There just needs to be regulations on what...
illegal immigrants in this country. And we can't even deal with illegal immigrants in this country, but we also have to deal with...
Illegal immigrants.
I said illegal immigrants twice.
But for the viewers out there, there's a fucking difference between...
We're still having issues with illegal immigrants, but yet we have to worry about fake robots?
Right? It's like we're living in the fucking Twilight Zone nowadays. Like this.
I'm not living in the Twilight Zone.
You couldn't even fucking write this shit in a script a couple years ago. I swear to God. Like this is like we're living in a movie.
But they have been. They've been writing it in the script in Hollywood.
Yeah, and they're shaping it into reality.
Which is doing what, Patrick?
Go ahead.
Hollywood is shaping what into reality? Are they trying to program our minds with the movies and the television we watch?
Maybe.
Yeah, fuck that. That ain't gonna happen.
Still watch the movies, though, don't you?
I do watch movies.
It's just we've gotten so comfortable with like that's our form of entertainment, man. It's like,
that is a form of entertainment.
It is.
There are other forms of entertainment.
There's always alternative options to technology.
When I was younger, I used to love skateboarding and rollerblading.
Yeah.
You grew up hunting. I like to go to fucking shooting range whenever we can,
dirt
even
bikes,
though blah, blah, blah.
Bicycles, crashing on skateboards, getting hurt at the park, fucking
active.
You remember back in the day, like when the brakes go out on your bicycle, you gotta shove your back foot in the fucking tire between the frame and the tire to stop yourself. That's how much I rode my bike. I rode the brakes right off the motherfuckers.
I did put my foot in between the spokes and the front forks one time.
You went right over the handlebars.
Oh, yeah, I got hurt.
Oh, you got folded up like a pretzel, I bet.
Yeah, I ended up in the hospital.
The worst one I ever had on the bike was, it's kind of funny. I was riding outside with my buddies when I was really young. I think I was like 7, 8 years old living in Merritt Island. And we're riding bikes, and I just happened to pass by my front yard, and my mom comes outside, and I specifically remember because what happened. She asked me, like, we were going to order pizza for dinner. So, like, she already went over.
Did you tell her you wanted mushrooms?
No, so she goes, what do you want on your pizza? Like, she was out on the phone. And I, like, yelled. I don't remember what I yelled for toppings. But
it was mushrooms, wasn't it?
When I said the toppings I wanted, I was riding the bike probably a good, like, 10 to 15 miles an hour, passing by the house, like, trying to do, like, a quick speed by, kind of like, you know, only 8 years old. I swear to God, right after I said my toppings, I turned my head back around.
Was it mushrooms?
Right into the back of a fucking Chevy work van. I'm talking a dirty one. I'm talking it was dirty as fuck. When I hit it, my impression was on it. It was like a fucking silhouette of Patrick's fucking body splattered on the back of it.
Oh, shit. Did you die?
Dude, it was bad. I got knocked out. I'm laying on the pavement, all folded up on my bicycle, up underneath this dude's truck. He comes running outside screaming and yelling. I guess he was working at one of the neighbors' houses. He comes out like, oh, you fucked my truck up. And he comes out there laughing because when I hit it, I hit the back bumper. My front tire wedged so hard, it bent the rim. The bike was still standing. And I was all folded up, face planted over the handlebars in between the bumper and the back of the truck kind of deal. And he's just like, he starts yelling at me, and then he sees the scenario, and he just started laughing. He felt so bad. And he's like, oh, you didn't even dent my truck, man. He's like, you're fine. He's like, but are you fine? And I was just like, I don't know.
But you didn't die, right?
Nah, I got fucked up.
Good job,
that's
buddy.
what happened when we were younger. You go outside, you play, you get hurt.
That's exactly right, dude.
And that's how you learn common sense.
You can't do that on a cell phone unless they want to rot your fucking electrical fucking current in your body.
Sit in the basement and just watch videos of people playing on stuff outside.
Okay. Welcome to the Unfiltered WJPE. I'm Joe.
I'm Patrick. Are we doing another intro?
Yeah, because it's time for a refill.
Alrighty, so. And we're back. Sorry, we got a little restroom breaks with the alcohol.
Oh, yeah, I got a fresh drink like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah. But, so we're back, and Me and Joe have been talking about a topic for a while now that we're gonna finally bring onto the show. The topic of what were you saying?
We're probably gonna spend a few episodes on this shit.
Oh yeah, what we're trying to do with this is we're trying to get to the bottom of it and find an understanding that we can both agree on. So it's not going to happen in one episode. This is probably something going to go on for a long time.
Oh, hold on.
You know what I'm saying? Because
no, I don't know what you're saying because you just said a topic we're going to agree on.
Well, that's the whole reason of discussing something and arguing is to find a solution.
Oh, I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Oh, we're gonna dig through this in this episode, not this episode, in this channel, eventually, to where we both come to an agreement on it.
And I don't care.
If not, we'll very clearly understand both sides of it. Right?
My thought process on this is I don't care if you agree with me on it.
Table.
Oh, I didn't tap on it.
I know.
There you go, Justin. What I believe in and what you believe in are two different things.
Well, they don't even know what we're talking about yet.
Not yet, but they're gonna.
They're like, oh man, I'm gonna figure this shit out.
And because I believe in something, it doesn't mean I need to force that on you.
Nor me. I'm looking at it from an objective point of view. Now, I'm saying I'm not going to go by what I believe. I'm going to go by what is most logically able to be proven until
another... All right, see, that's the point we have a problem with. You think that because people give you theories...
All right, you're jumping into it too far. So we got to go backwards because we've done a lot of behind the camera conversations on this, and we're kind of picking up where we've left off in our regular discussion. So what we've came up with is we found a video that we both agree on touches down on a lot of bases throughout the discussion. Okay, and it's dipping the toes in the waters kind of deal.
Yeah, it's just dipping toes because
just barely putting ripples in the fucking lake.
Scratching the surface.
We're gonna slightly discuss this top. I mean, we're gonna discuss each section in this video. So now that we have the videos together, we're able to properly portray this to you, the viewers.
Do you want to give them a little interest about what it's about?
I figured I'd let you say it, or if you want me to, I will. But it doesn't matter.
No, I don't give a shit. I personally believe I don't have 100% proof, even though actually kind of.
Nor do I, because I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the facts. All I have is basic knowledge that I've been taught and acquired from all over the years.
Use my common sense and from what's going on. I'm a flat earth believer.
And I'm what they would call a round earther. And
dumbasser, but whatever.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
You enjoy your ego more than... Okay, go ahead.
We're going to keep this very professional in our discussions on it. We're going to try not to get mad at each other like most people do. We're going to try to...
What are you talking about? We argue about it on a daily basis.
I know, but we've got to start to verbalize it professionally.
But you can agree with me. You're a pretty smart person, right?
I'm not going to sit there and be arrogant and say I'm a smart, super intelligent person, but
you have common
than
sense.
The average person.
You do have common sense.
Yes, I have common sense.
Okay, great.
Common sense, and I got some knowledge. But
okay, so
I'm not going to claim to have the answers for everything on my behalf, nor should you in any way. But
like I said,
we're trying. We're trying.
Have 100% proof, but I am
to prove something.
A believer that the Earth is flat.
I'm a believer that this Earth is round, just like we've seen it.
Okay,
and no, I can't say that because
we're gonna start this debate on this show, and it's gonna go for many shows. But
so
you already believe.
I'm not looking at it in a belief.
No, let me finish. You already believe that the government lies to us about many different things.
What are you getting at?
Okay, so like 9/11. What happened with 9/11?
Oh, completely different topic. We can't mix these two together.
Let's hold on.
9/11. We can do a whole episode about 9/11 if you like.
We will do an episode about 9/11.
And we will say it. I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's fucking inside job. But
thank you. Inside job
all the way. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say that because of certain corrupt people in that affiliation that were associated with that had anything to do with tricking the American people into thinking that the world's round.
But there are a bunch of things that you already know and believe that are false, that you are being lied to about, correct?
Of course.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I want to say.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to keep this very objective. I'm not going to stick with my beliefs. Got it? So, like, I'm gonna go with...
Patrick says beliefs, I say indoctrination, but as long as that he already admitted that, yes, he believes in a lot of things that he's being told are lies, and we will get into that in further episodes, especially with 9/11, especially with...
Basically, we're not scientists, but we're going to common sense the shit out of this stuff.
Oh, thank you for saying common sense.
That's a good way to put it. It just clicked in my head, but we're going to common sense the shit out of this.
This might be the turning point for Mr. Patrick.
We're looking at it from both views, okay? As it stands...
No, I'm only looking at it from one view.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pop up the video in the square. The people see it now. This is the video we're going to start out to. The link will be in the description to credit the video. But we're going to do some discussions on this. So...
it's going to be about 3 hours, so get your drinks ready.
Man. We might have to do this video in some parts.
Yeah, it's going to be a two-part.
We might have to two-part this one. You ready?
Let's go.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and start the video. And there'll be a lot of pausing and discussions. Let us know what you think. And before we go ahead and get into this, I want to go ahead and say to the viewers, if you could please help us out and like, subscribe, comment. If you feel obligated, you can donate. We'll put the PayPal link, of course, in the description like previous videos. But please help support the channel. We're trying to monetize our account, get it up there so we can start generating some revenue for the studio. The more we upgrade, better quality we get to you guys. And it's as simple as hitting the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, yada, yada, yada. I know it's bullshit. I don't even like saying it, but we need your help.
And just as much, dude, we really need your feedback.
Feedback is always nice. I mean, criticize, make fun of us. We don't even give a shit. You say whatever you want.
I want the feedback.
Yep. So, you ready? We're going to go ahead and get some play action on this video. And go. Introduction to Flat Earth. Flying through the clouds. You can see it, right?
I mean, flying through the clouds.
That's what they're doing. It's like... You can see that, right?
I can see it.
Okay. Just making sure. What does Flat Earth look like? I guess these are like basic questions that get asked. I mean...
No one is 100% certain about what the flat Earth looks like. Azimuthal equidistant projection map that is
you
used
laughed
by the
at me.
USGS is the flat Earth map. The United Nations, oddly enough, uses the flat Earth map as its logo and divides it into 33 Masonic sections. The Gleason's map is also used as a representation of the flat Earth. On the flat Earth map, North is in the center, while South, or Antarctica, is surrounding Earth with the continents and oceans.
Can I pause and talk about it real quick?
Yeah.
I already got something.
From 1569.
Go ahead.
There's also a flat Earth map
wrong button.
Showing.
Okay. So, I'm already noticing something. Yeah, it's bugging me already.
Go ahead, let it bug you.
Okay, so this, I mean, we've talked previously about this. Let me rewind it a little bit so that the people can.
No, I don't rewind shit. They're not stupid.
Okay, so
is also used as a representation of
the flat
Earth.
This view right here.
On the flat Earth map,
hang on, when it gets to the part with the ice wall. I've heard you talk about the ice wall.
Ice wall.
That's a decent one. Yeah, that's what's made up to be what's portrayed as the ice wall in the flat Earth theory, correct? So every time I see this, the way that they portray this out, in almost every way I look into this. And I mean, I've been doing some digging into flat Earth, enough to where most people would probably already converted kind of deal. Tell me that doesn't look like you're looking at the top of the globe. And all they did was unwrap the bottom of it to the Antarctica. Because, I mean, this one doesn't show what I'm saying very well, but most of those ice wall ones, you can still see edges and stuff. And if you were to piece it back together, you get the shape of Antarctica at the bottom.
That's the whole point.
But
if you believe in the flat Earth, okay, if you believe in the rest of the research, that's everything. They took the original maps of what used to be the old world maps and made it into a globe. But they added Antarctica, even though supposedly in a flat Earth, Antarctica does not exist. Now, we'll get into the fact of the Antarctica Treaty, which makes no fucking sense in the world.
We can go ahead and get into that because that's one of the biggest fallbacks I see people with the flat Earth theory go to, is the fact that nobody's allowed to go to Antarctica.
But why?
That wasn't the case forever. Like, very short, like, I want to say
not
almost...
until the 50s.
Like 10 years ago. When I was in high school, I researched it for a project.
Okay.
The ridiculous exotic flights or something. The most exotic flight I could find was one to Antarctica. And civilians could go to Antarctica back in the day. And then all of a sudden something happened up there with when Obama was in administration.
No, if you actually do the real research, this actually happened in the 50s.
Well, I mean, 2008 was my 12th year.
And then you might have just started hearing something about it recently, but the Antarctica Treaty happened in the 50s.
All right. Well,
so basically,
I know that
you're taking what you're saying is correct, but is valid. But yeah, they're taking that map, the old world map, the current flat Earth map, and if they were going to put it in a globe, they would stretch that out over the globe. Correct.
See, exactly. But where I think the biggest flat Earth confusion comes into play is like the way that they used to draw maps like this. They've been drawing maps since before Jesus, before the timeline even reset to one.
Okay,
kind of deal.
See, that's a problem too.
But that's the maps that they're basing the flat Earth on, is the ancient maps of the
but that's
Chinese
not before
and stuff
Jesus.
like that.
Okay,
that was BC. You're talking back in 1500 BC
okay,
shit. Those supposedly are the most accurate. Like, I've done research into flat Earth, and those are like the most accurate. They say flat Earth when they start talking about like the dark god or something that swallows the sun, and they were talking about the eclipses and stuff like that.
Like, listen, up until a couple hundred years ago, everybody believed the world was flat. Up until a few hundred years ago, don't ask me the exact date.
I can't give accuracy, but I don't completely agree with that. It's majority.
Don't agree with it.
I'll say majority.
Do your research about when the map changed. It was a few hundred years ago.
But what I'm getting at is that they had no way, once they figured out, like let's say if they figured out back in the day that we were on a round sphere, that they had no imagination on how to draw that onto paper is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, but
so then they came up with drawings just like this one right here, and they drew it like that, knowing that if you connected it together, it would create the bottom continent kind of deal. Because I think it was...
But that's not what they believed then. They actually believed the world was flat up until a few hundred years ago.
I don't know the exact date. I wish I would have done research into that before.
You can do your research and you can come back next week.
Yeah, we'll look into it. You ready to continue it?
But hold on. You could also watch a video and they'll tell you. But until like literally a few hundred years ago, everybody believed the world was flat.
I can't respond to that without knowing for certain what I'm saying. Like,
all right, this is where the point comes into where you have to do your research.
I have, but all I'm saying behind this exact example that he's giving is...
Okay, let's take...
Not this guy in general, is majority of these maps, they all look to me like if you were to take the globe and look at it from an upside view and then peeling the bottom layers off, like splitting Antarctica right in the middle symmetrically and peeling it open to create that, and then they're filling in the missing pieces from you peeling it open.
And at the same time, if they wanted to create a globe Earth, they would take that same flat Earth picture and wrap it around. And then they would add Antarctica, which clearly is not there. They say it's there.
I think it's there.
But we're not allowed to visit it. Why are we not allowed to visit it?
But that's what I'm saying. I did really, really, like, I wrote a whole entire paper on this exotic trip, and I had to do the actual research behind it in high school. And the exotic trip I chose was a trip to Antarctica for a week.
Yeah, that sucks.
And I did the search, and I actually found the Priceline tickets and what airline was going to take me there and stuff like that. And the only things that were required was, like, permission from something, and you needed the passport. And the flight alone, a round trip for a 2-week, was like over $4,000.
Permission from
I don't
where?
remember off the top of my head. I could get back into it, but
if you really wanted to research that, then try to get the permission to go there.
Yep.
And try to book the ticket.
Nowadays, from what I understand, but it was the Obama administration, that's what I was trying to say, that canceled.
Had nothing to do with the Obama administration.
I could have sworn they might have reactivated that treaty or something, but
this has been going on since the 50s.
I don't believe that. I'm going to look into that.
Okay.
Let me get my notepad so I can write that down.
So, in that first clip, you also did see what the United Nations emblem shows, correct?
Yeah, it looked like the top view of a globe to me.
No. You need to look at it again.
And the reason why it has the lines around it is to show the latitude and longitude comparisons. That's why they get skinnier towards the end.
All right, well, let's go ahead and back that up and look at the United Nations symbol
We'll look at it again, but we need to go ahead
because the United Nations symbol actually shows flat Earth.
But it also shows the distinct of the so-called ice wall. It shows the details of the Antarctica. So if you were to pull it back together,
how does it show the details of Antarctica?
He has it in one of these.
He just showed it to you. Back it up and let's look at it.
One of these pictures, I might have skipped it.
Is also a flat.
No, they already showed it. You can back it up and show the United Nations symbol.
Bites it into 33 Masonic sections.
Okay, I was wrong. It doesn't get skinnier towards the edges, and it doesn't show Antarctica or ice wall.
There's the United Nations symbol.
I don't know what this dude's getting at with this whole number scheme here. I'm not even going to wrap my brain around that, but I do.
That's the problem.
I do see the symbolism.
That is the problem. You're not trying to wrap your brain around it. That is the United Nations symbol.
I understand that. I said I understand the symbolism.
There's no Antarctica.
They're using that symbol.
There's no Antarctica. That is the flat world map that the United Nations uses. The United Nations.
I'm not seeing Iceland or Greenland either, though. They should be right here. In the Atlantic. North Atlantic, in between America and Europe. So
they are
missing
there.
Those two land masses.
No, it's not missing it. They are there.
I see a dot. But Greenland and Iceland are huge. They're continents.
Listen.
Like, see how you can see Mexico on the United States, and you can see
the flat
Florida.
Earth map is different from the globe map.
People live there, is what I'm saying. That's a continent. It's a real place.
And it exists, and it's on there.
I don't see it. Do you see it?
The flat Earth map.
I understand the flat Earth, but we're talking about the UN
continents symbol. In different sizes than the globe map.
I understand that, but look what we're looking at. This is the United Nations symbol.
Correct.
Okay.
It's showing the flat Earth map.
If the flat Earth map shows Iceland and Greenland, which people do live there, you know that people live there, right?
Yeah,
it's land masses that do exist.
It's on there.
Flat Earth or round Earth, they exist.
And they're on there.
Look, it should be between Europe and America then, in the North End region.
And it's there.
Which is right where I'm pointing, and I don't see anything there but the brown lines. Because Greenland's half the size of the United States, so you'd be able to see it. Or Iceland, sorry. I always get them confused.
That's the flat Earth map. It's not, like, in detail, but that's the flat Earth map.
But that's the United Nations symbol.
Correct.
It shows like the official symbol.
It shows a flat Earth map. Continue on, then.
Missing Iceland and Greenland and the United Nations symbol.
The Gleason's map is also used as a representation of the flat Earth.
Hang on. I got it. I want to see that. Okay, look at this one. See how it has the jagged edges? Kind of hard from where you're seeing. That's what I was getting at with the Antarctica when you wrap it back around. See how it looks like a symmetrical circle right here, and then you get over here and it's like skinnier, then it goes down to nothing, then gets big again. If that's the case, why hasn't anybody made it through the ice wall? You know what? That's one of the questions in here. I'm jumping too far ahead.
We can go back to Admiral Byrd and shit.
Of the flat
Not
Earth.
yet.
Yep, not
The
yet.
flat Earth map. North is in the center, while south, or Antarctica, is surrounding Earth with the continents and oceans inside. Mercator's map from 1569 is also a flat Earth map showing a magnetic mountain in the north.
Pause.
4 continents.
So 1569, the Mercator's map is showing a flat Earth. Correct? So when I say a few hundred years ago, the Mercator's map is going 500 years ago.
500, yeah.
A few hundred years ago, everybody on this planet believed the Earth was round.
I can't
or
agree
flat.
with that. Not every person, because this guy drew this map. I guarantee you it didn't spread for hundreds of years before people caught on to what he was getting at. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Up until a few hundred years ago, everybody
500. That's medieval ages.
Okay, now you're talking about something that's programmed.
That's what this is. It's a 500-year-old map.
Correct.
1500s.
Few hundred, 500, what's the difference? Everybody believed the Earth was flat.
I can't agree with that.
It's not until recently,
Because in the 1500s, you had
In 200 to
Galileo.
300
Galileo
years-
didn't think the Earth was flat. The inventor of the telescope.
there's so much more involved than that.
I'm just saying, not every person, because there was Indians.
Yes,
fucking
everybody back then believed the Earth was flat. Yes.
bullshit, because there was Indians in America that hadn't seen anybody else, no white man yet, and they only knew their fucking.
And where
feces
you're
in the
getting
ground.
your basis that they didn't believe the Earth was flat?
They were fucking living in teepees still. Well,
And
we
they
were in
fucking knew the Earth was flat. Do that research.
Don't think Indians,
Really?
Native Americans. I don't think they thought that.
Okay, yes, they actually did. Do your research.
Oh well, I'll look into that one.
Up until 300 to 500 years ago, everybody believed the world was flat. It wasn't until recently that people started believing the world was round. But yet still, the United Nations symbol is a flat Earth.
Minus continents.
Exactly. Antarctica does not exist.
But what I'm saying about
I mean, let me
minus
go
continent-
there. Let me take
let's say Antarctica doesn't exist. What I'm saying is that was the United Nations symbol, and I did not see Iceland and Greenland. That
Are you
was
sure
their
you-
symbol. We both agreed on it. It was their symbol.
It was their symbol.
But it's missing those two continents. Even if Antarctica doesn't exist, those two continents were not visible on that map. But they had all the other land masses besides Antarctica, which, let's just say, it doesn't exist, okay? If Antarctica doesn't exist, those two are still missing off that.
Keep going.
That's sketchy to me. This is a 1,500-year-old drawing before they could really even know.
Surrounding it. The ancients had their own depictions of a flat Earth.
Next question. Where's the edge?
We already know that answer.
The edge is to a
Who's
flat
to say
Earth.
there is an edge? Most people's first reaction to flat Earth is that there must be an edge. But is that because of how it is presented to us? On the current flat Earth model, there is no edge, but rather a 360-degree wall of ice surrounding Earth holding the ocean's end. Again, no one is 100% certain that this ice wall exists, because for more than 50 years, there has existed an international Antarctic treaty stating that no civilian can travel
1950s.
without government approval. There are pre-approved guide tours that exist, but they only go to coastal regions. Jarl Antoy was arrested and fined when he traveled to Antarctica without permission. We do
Jarl,
have
what
many
was his
pictures
name?
of the ice wall.
Don't know. Never heard of him.
Jarl Antoine. I want to see if that's true later on. I'm just going to check research.
Well, write it down in the notebook. Like I said,
I already forgot it. It was
Holding the ocean's end.
so there's your meat.
No one is
1950s. We have
100%
not
certain
been allowed to
that this
go
ice
there.
wall exists,
That's
because
what they're
for
saying,
more
that
than 50
treaty.
years,
Doesn't mean it was in
there has
place the
existed
entire
an
time.
International Antarctic
There
treaty
was a treaty.
Yeah, actually,
stating
it
that no
did say that.
civilian can travel there
It
without
actually did
government
just say
approval.
that.
He said
There are
that.
pre-approved guide tours that exist, but they only go to coastal regions. Jarl Antoy was arrested and fined when he traveled to Antarctica without permission.
Antoine.
We do have many pictures of the ice wall.
I did not spell
but due
that
to
right.
the
but
treaty,
whatever.
we are restricted from going down there.
Where is the sun on a flat Earth? I'm guessing you meant to say flat Earth model. This is the part I got
On the
some
flat Earth
questions.
model, the The sun circles over the Earth in a clockwise manner and fades off into the vanishing point of perspective, or the horizon. The sun does not actually sink to the ground, but rather it gets further and further away until the observer can no longer see it.
I have to pause it there, okay?
That's fine.
Based off of what he just said, I know you can't agree with that. That the sun travels along a flat plane in a straight distance until it gets so far away that we can't see it with our eyesight. That's what he's saying.
No, I do agree with it.
I can't.
I do agree with it.
I can't go with that because of the fact our sun is a star that produces a mass amount of light.
No.
Okay,
no.
Why can't we stare at it with our eyeballs?
Okay, you just said the sun.
What I'm getting at, let me finish real quick. A light source traveling at a distance away from us, like let's say, I'm not even going to say its rotation or the way it wraps around a flat Earth or anything like that, but just like a sun is passing by over the surface along a flat plane at the same elevation and never drops elevation. If it continuously keeps going in the distance, and then all of a sudden, if it doesn't curve over anything, why isn't the light being portrayed any further? Like when I look up into the sky at nighttime and I see a star, okay, that light is able to make it to me over hundreds of millions of light years away.
No, you're thinking on a globe scale.
No, I'm talking.
No, you're really when you're talking about a star. When you're talking about a star from 100 million miles away or however far away, you're thinking on a globe perspective. Okay?
Even
that's
Venus.
The problem
we
you're having.
Venus at nighttime. Venus is our brightest star from where we're at. It shines at the southeast region. About
okay, you're still thinking about it in a.
I'm talking about with what I can see with my eyes. From my doorstep, when I step outside to smoke a cigarette at, let's say, 12 o'clock at night, I can look up, see the star. The brightest star in the sky, correct, for me at that time of the day where I'm at on the planet, flat Earth, round Earth, whatever, where I'm standing when I look up, that star, I've looked at it with a telescope. It's a planet. And you're seeing a reflection of the light on it. And I've seen it.
You're seeing a reflection of light, correct?
On an object floating in a vacuum of space.
You don't know that.
I've seen it with my eyeball.
No, you have not seen an object floating in a vacuum of space with your fucking eyeball.
And what is a star?
They don't fucking know the answer.
But we see them, is what I'm saying.
You can see light, and correct.
Telescopes allow us to capture light at a more magnified intensity.
Correct. You can see light at a more magnified intensity, correct. That does not prove it is a fucking planet. It does not prove shit.
When I looked at it with a telescope, what I saw was like how we look up and see a full moon in our sky. That is how I saw the planet. No, you did not see the yellow. You did not see. You did not see a star. It's not a star. I'm talking about a planet in our solar system. No, you did not see a star or a planet like you do see our moon. You are correct. You're wrong. I will buy a telescope and show you that. Buy a fucking telescope. You will see a light. You are absolutely correct. You will see a light. I will show you more than a light. The light will dissipate once it's magnified, and you will get to see that actual object. No, you can see it. You are correct. You can see it. It'll look like our moon. It will look nothing like our moon. Different tint, different atmosphere, and everything. Nothing like our moon. I've seen it with my own eyes. No, you have not. Because you can only use one eye. You have not seen it with your own fucking eye. I promise you. In high school, with telescopes, outside. Yes, you could see light with a telescope. You have not seen a fucking planet. I'm telling you how I saw it. It was. You're telling me what I saw doesn't exist. No, you've already said you've seen the light. No, yes, I said the planet. Have seen a light. Once you magnify it, you're able to actually see the object that's reflecting the light. That a reflecting telescope does not show a planet. That does not prove a planet. Have you ever looked at a star or a planet? A light. Any star in the sky. Have you ever looked at it with a telescope? Yes. And what did you see? Light. And when you looked at a closer star, which would be a more brighter star. No. You didn't look at any of those. It's all the same thing. It's not, I promise you. It's like just the other day. You can't promise me, Patrick. Mars was the closest in 15 years. There is no Mars, Patrick. You are seeing light. You are correct. You are seeing lights. Light reflected off of an object in a vacuum of space from our light source in our solar system. You were just seeing light. That's the sun.
You are not seeing nothing reflecting off a vacuum of space. You are seeing light through a telescope. That proves absolutely nothing. You are seeing lights through a telescope, correct?
Tell us what you guys think in the comments.
Yeah, go ahead.
We'll go to the next topic.
And what
trying not to get this
seeing through a light through a telescope to show
Just
you...
don't tell me I didn't see something. I saw it with my own eye.
Patrick, you did see a light.
I saw what looked like a red, yellow tinted moon.
Of course, you could see different colors of lights through a telescope. Absolutely.
I'm not saying it was a light. I saw an object.
No, you did say a light.
When you're standing
and
on
the
surface,
object you saw was a light.
No, you're correcting me inappropriately. When you're standing on the planet's surface and you look up and you see a star, that is considered a light. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, when I take a telescope and zoom in on a star that would be in a close proximity to where we are, not something that's hundreds of millions of light years away, but something that's actually in our solar system, such as a relative planet, Mercury, Venus, Uranus, those are the big ones that you can see with a telescope. And you can actually see the rings on Saturn with a store-bought fucking telescope. It's a planet with rings around it. That makes no fucking sense.
So
I don't understand.
You looked at it through a telescope.
And saw the rings.
And you saw the light.
The rings. And I saw Uranus. Greenish tint. Dark blackish.
So you saw lights through a telescope.
I saw objects.
Okay. But what did you actually physically see?
I'm telling you. It's like...
Did you see a planet?
Yes.
How do you know it's a planet? Did it look like a light?
Well, what do we call our moon? You're basically debunking our moon. That's saying it doesn't exist.
No, the moon is there.
Okay, the moon is there. Why?
There's
because
no proof
we can see it. It's an object.
Yes, you can see it.
And I saw what looked like a moon that was reflecting surface
it's an object.
Over a longer distance.
It is an object we call the moon.
Now, I'm saying I fit it inside of a telescope.
Yes,
okay,
you can see it in a telescope.
Over a further distance than what our moon is. Okay, so you got to figure it's going to look smaller in the telescope, but I can still see it. I probably saw with my eyesight through the telescope, I saw about a 1-inch object in the shape of a moon. And when I looked at Saturn, it was kind of, I'm going to say that, you got a circle like a moon, and then the ring was going through at an angle.
You did see it.
Yes.
Correct.
The ring around the planet. Explain that. You're saying I can't see that.
You did know. You did see it.
I saw Saturn with my own eyes.
What tells you it's a planet? What tells you, and what proof
I'm saying that I've seen an object through a telescope. I'm not going to say you call it a planet.
Absolutely.
You're going to make me go into what I believe in science.
You can see the moon through a telescope, absolutely.
I'm trying not to go what my beliefs are. I'm sticking objective. You can
see the moon through a telescope. You're absolutely correct. You could see
planets. What we've vocabularized as planets.
But what do they look like? What do they look like through a telescope? Do they look like lights,
huge, massive balls. Like what our moon is.
Massive balls of what?
Mass. Density.
But what do they look like?
Like our moon.
Did it look like a light? I can't
describe it more than our fucking moon, because you believe our moon is round, right? Even on a flat Earth model, they believe the moon and the sun are still round. Every single one of them. I have not seen one that would say the moon is not round. If they show the moon and the sun in their models as existing objects in our time, they are portrayed as round.
Correct.
Okay. If the moon is round and we see it, and I can look off into space in a telescope.
You can see further away.
Okay. And now I'm looking at a star. Now I magnified it, and now what I'm seeing is what looks like a moon, a circular object.
Is it the size of the moon or smaller?
You can't really see a spin unless you sit there and you actually mark one spot on it, come back, wait a couple hours, and then mark another spot on it.
Yeah,
and
you can actually see a spin either way.
You can.
No, you can't.
I promise you. You can get an electronic telescope and actually sit there and dial it in perfectly.
You can't promise
me. But
I
know you're not going to trust it.
You cannot promise me.
If we go through a computer.
Because you're seeing a light through the telescope.
You
are seeing an object.
You're going back to saying I didn't see it.
You are seeing an object of light through the telescope. You are absolutely correct.
So the resolution to this argument is we need to get a telescope, and we both need to sit down and look at it on that subject. So I'm going to note that down. Need to look at planets if they exist.
You can see plenty of stars, plenty of objects of light through a telescope. Absolutely correct.
Well, see, that's what I'm getting at, is the objects that are actually close to our star, whether it be over a flat Earth or not. Okay? Our star is portraying light. You can agree on that.
Yeah,
Our star, meaning the sun, Ra, whatever they want to call it, amongst all the different forms of the humans on this timeline.
The sun and the spoon. The sun and the spoon. The sun and the moon both give off light.
I don't agree with the moon. The moon is only reason the moon lights up is because it's reflecting the light of the sun.
All right, that's what a globe believer believes, correct? But the science proves, and you have to do the research on this. And I'm not trying to be whatever. You have to do the research on it. The science proves that the moonlight is colder in the moonlight than it is in the shadow of the moon. And I know you don't understand what I'm saying.
Are you saying that the temperature that we feel from the sun
No.
versus the temperature we feel from the light of the moon?
No. The temperature of the moon in the moonlight is colder than in the moonlight's shadow.
All right, you can say that again. I'm sorry.
I know.
I was distracted by
I know it's hard to understand. The temperature of the moonlight is colder.
Which light? You're talking about
Moonlight.
You're thinking that the
Moonlight
light is generated from the moon. No other sources but the moon.
The moon gives off its own light. Correct.
Okay. So
now this is the part where it gets tricky.
Now what are you saying about the light? No.
Okay.
Keep going.
The moon gives off light.
So the light that's being portrayed from the moon does what?
Colder.
Is colder than...
Okay, I really have to be careful when I say this. The moon gives off its own light. You're used to believing in a global fucking Earth where the moon gets its light from the sun. That is not correct. It is not correct. Because they have done the tests, and you can actually research and find it, and I have not sent those videos to you yet, because I don't document every video I watch. But it is proven that the light of the moon is actually colder. Okay, so say the moon gives off light. Now, there's a shadow other than the light of the moon, okay? So you're getting moonlight, and then you have a moonlight shadow. The light of the moon is actually colder than its shadow.
Correct. It would have to be. Anything that's producing light would be cooler than
No.
the other side.
You're thinking of it the wrong
It's
way
like when
still.
It's like when you're laying on a beach, you're getting
No.
hit from the sun, and the bottom side of you is not.
No, you're not listening. The light that's coming from the moon is colder than the light of the shadow. It's warmer in the shadow. It's the exact opposite of the moon, the sun.
What shadow? What shadow from what? That's what I'm trying to understand.
That's the exact point I'm talking about.
Okay, now
you
listen
have
to
to research the moon.
The part that makes no sense to me. Okay, if the moon,
None of it makes sense to
I know
you.
you don't have the answer, but I know you're.
No, I do have the answer.
Just listen.
That's why I have to tell you to research
I
it.
heard you out before I forget this. The moon. You're saying that it has its own source to create light.
Correct.
Okay. Why isn't it lit up 100% all the way around all the time then?
I don't know that answer.
That's if it's not a man-made source, which I mean it might be, maybe, I don't know. But if
Okay,
it's not
there,
a man-made
right
source, if
there,
it's a
right
natural
there,
element,
right there. We don't know.
Well, pretty soon we could find out.
But if you want to go to
they're sending
head,
private
go to head.
contractors to the moon to drill for helium-3, so we'll actually have civilians sending equipment to the moon, supposedly, to drill for helium-3. And when they do that, we should have some civilian feedback on what the moon actually is, because we've heard scattered things. It could be a big satellite floating around,
So,
a whole bunch of other things. Hollow
Tomorrow,
moon theory.
do the research on the temperature of the moonlight and the shadow of the moonlight.
And you look into why, if the moon is its own light source, why isn't it lit up all the time?
Here's another question that doesn't make sense. Why is it if the Earth spins like it does and we spin around?
Spinning is a whole different topic. We're talking about light right now.
I'm going to use this in three different aspects right now.
I know, but if we jump like that, it gets too confusing.
No,
in
I'm actually going to use this in three different aspects right now before we get any further.
I already know you're going to start talking about gravity.
No, I'm not going to talk about fucking gravity.
Okay, so what were we saying?
If the moon rotates, if the Earth rotates, and the sun rotates, and we rotate around the fucking sun and blah, 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 and fucking jerk me off, why is it we only have one view of one side of the moon ever? No matter what happens, we only ever... I don't
believe that to be true.
That's the only pictures we have is one side
I'm
of
not
the moon
talking about
ever.
pictures. I'm talking about you can go outside, and I feel that the moon is not the same position every single night.
Let me pause you there.
And I'm not talking about pictures. I'm not talking about NASA.
Patrick wants to go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead. I would love to do this with Patrick, and we could sit out there and drink and smoke fucking...
We're dedicated to figuring this shit out.
Whatever.
Or the endless argument, whatever.
Let's get some donation money and let's get a good telescope. And what I already believe and what I already know, we'll go out there and we'll watch the moon. We'll watch the moon for a couple days, and literally, it's the same thing we always see. We never see any other side than one side of the moon.
Well, that's what I'm saying. According to the
Which
science...
still does not make sense.
According to the science that we've been taught with the angles and everything, the way that the Earth spins and we go around the sun and their perfect little model that they've taught us that the flat earths don't agree with.
You're already starting to fucking see within this last hour and today.
I'm just showing you that I'm not looking at it from only my perspective. I'm digging in from all angles. I'm trying to just find out the truth. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. And
okay, because I'm getting even all this shit spread across the internet is kind of fucking with my head now. So I'm getting pissed and I want to find the answer.
I've lived in Florida all my life.
And we've watched
all my fucking life. I've been here since the first shuttle went up to the last shuttle went up.
We
and
live
you know what?
40 minutes from Cape Canaveral. We watch that shit happen every single time.
Every single shuttle mission, every rocket I've fucking witnessed, whether it be on TV or live, and I've seen a lot of them live. And my whole life, I believed in that shit. I had my fucking ceiling painting.
I still do.
No, you don't have your ceiling painted with fucking shuttles and this shit.
Dude, I had a whole star bedroom when I was in elementary school.
I was there when the Challenger blew up. And to come to find out the shit that I found out over the last few years, just by one simple question my dad asked me, and he still won't believe what I did, or for what I do. My dad asked me a simple question about the Beatles 2 years ago, and that just spread to craziness. But I've watched these shuttles go off. I've believed it all my life. To come to find out it's all bullshit, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not a fucking dumb dude.
I can't really respond without saying stuff that I believe in, so I can't.
I understand.
I'm trying to stay away from my beliefs in this.
I'm not trying to put my beliefs on you. I'm just trying to make
I know.
I'm pissed. I'm mad. I am mad, bro.
See, we separated ourselves from the topic we were talking about. I'm just going to go ahead and say that we finished that topic and we're going to play the video and get to the next part. Because we're actually only 2 minutes and 30 seconds into this video.
Dude, we're going to be here for weeks. We're going to be here on this one video for weeks.
Part. But we're going to keep doing this until, we figure it out.
But we have 5 videos lined up, so we might be here for a fucking year. So anyway,
the show goes on indefinitely.
I'm gonna ask. Please donate to the channel because I want to buy a telescope. I want to do this shit.
Or we live 40 minutes from NASA.
Or send us a telescope.
If
I don't give a shit.
Anybody that works at NASA watches this and they have somebody that has a book that we wrote or something, you want to come on our channel and push it to the public, you're more than welcome to. I mean, we love to interview some people that actually have
because I got questions,
scientific knowledge.
I got questions.
Just sit down, have a beer with us, drink, talk for a little bit, 2-3 hours, whatever.
Dude, can I be a real dick right now?
Let's say no. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and play the video, and we're going to continue on.
Fine.
Ready?
Fine.
The sun is not 93 million miles away.
It's not.
As modern astronomers claim, but it is obviously closer and smaller. The sun only gives light to about half.
Since we're dragging it out, I mean...
No. Finish playing that, and then we'll
No, because we're not going to go back and watch this video again. So, what I was getting at with the light traveling across a flat plane. So, pretty much, if I do get a telescope and I get you to look through it, and I show you the planet Venus that looks like a star from the planet's surface with your own eyeballs looking up, and we look at it, and you see that it's nothing more than the light of our sun reflecting off the planet.
I never said it was the light.
Let me finish. And let's say you see what I've seen. You see what looks like a mass object like our moon as what we've been told is a planet. You see that when you look through the telescope.
I have a deeper understanding of what this is, and I've researched this.
I think that's going to change so much of the way you think. Because, I mean, I've seen this. I was really into astronomy when I was a kid. Like, I've never failed science class. I've always been one of those kids that got hundreds. Science and history.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. You're just starting to actually do what I was doing a year
digging
ago.
my whole life. I've always been interested.
No, you have not been
digging
digging into fucking flat Earth your whole life. Okay,
not flat Earth specifically.
Because
I've
up
been
until
digging the truth of science,
and this is what I'm saying. Up until a year and a half ago, dude, everything's dandy, everything's perfect, every sunshine. And my dad asked me one question about the fucking Beatles. And that's where I started researching the Beatles. I started researching
digging in conspiracies.
Not conspiracies.
Well, but I mean, everybody calls conspiracies. There's certain unsolved mysteries.
And what it gets into as a whole is everything's connected, and that's a further topic. But I've watched almost every shuttle launch. I've watched almost every rocket. Because we literally live 35, 40 minutes away from fucking Cape Canaveral.
And that's why we'd love to have somebody from NASA come on.
I watched...
After the plane.
Oh, sorry. That was an accident.
I watched the Challenger blow up. Okay? And this is what I believed in my whole life. Pictures this, pictures that, blah, 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 blah.
Literally, you're repeating what you already said.
No shit.
I'm just letting you know.
But you want to talk about looking through a telescope at a star or a planet?
All I was saying about that
and what I'm going to say right now...
If you see the same thing I saw, it disproves the sun traveling across a flat plane. Because if the sun's actually reflecting light off...
You can't disprove it.
But listen, if you see what I saw, and you look at it and you see a massive object, and according to our eyes, when we look up, it's just a star. That means that our star is producing light so strong that it's bouncing off of that planet's surface and then reflecting back to us in what we call a star from our ground view. So if I show you that, it shows you the power of the sun, meaning if it traveled along a flat plane straight across, it wouldn't be able to go out of our visuals.
And that's where you're incorrect. And that's where I keep saying... In our previous conversations alone, you are looking at the sun.
I'm saying based off of that right there, those variables, nothing else.
No, you didn't even watch it. You paused it. You are still looking at the sun. No, I am completely understanding it. You are still looking at the sun as it is this fucking
because I've seen things
star
like this.
that is 400 times the size of the moon and our planet. That's what you're still thinking about. That's what you need to get away from is the sun is the same size as the moon.
But you say I've been taught. I've seen this, is what I'm telling you. I've looked at Mars, I've looked at Venus, and I've seen Mercury. I've seen those 3 planets with my own fucking eye through a telescope.
You've seen those 3 lights through a telescope,
those
correct?
Mass objects floating through space reflecting our sun's light back towards us.
They're not floating through space. You've seen the lights. They're not floating
You're
toward
telling
us.
me what I saw when you weren't there. But I'm telling you, like when we go and get a telescope, all I'm saying is that
Let's
test,
get a telescope.
When I show you that, when you see Saturn, you see Venus, you see Uranus. I hate saying it like that because people make jokes.
No, it's fucking Uranus, dude.
Okay, Uranus. Let's add some humor to it. Mercury, Mars. When I show you those mass objects floating in our space that are reflecting the light back to us, that are viewed as stars from the planet's surface, that will show you the power of the light being produced from our sun.
They're lights.
Right then and there. Oh, to you, they're lights. Until you look through a telescope with Patrick standing next to you, and I calibrate it and focus it in properly, I will show you a mass object.
Let's get the telescope.
And when that happens, that example will be proving that the power of the light being produced from the sun is so powerful that it's able to reflect on a planet that we're told is further away from the sun than us, reflect off of that object and come back to us so that we're able to see it with our eyeballs.
You're still thinking...
I'm just saying, that experiment alone will prove that.
No, it will not.
Well...
It will not prove that.
Tell us in the comments what you think. We're going to continue the video.
It will not prove that.
Because you're going to go right back down the same rabbit hole you're just going down.
No, because I could see those things through a telescope. I will see those lights through a telescope. That's fine and dandy.
Not lights. I'm telling you. From the ground view, with your eyeballs, they're lights. That's why I'm thinking you haven't looked at these.
No, I can't.
You might have looked at a couple stars.
I cannot see those things
from
my eyeball.
I was into it when I was a kid. I'm able to look up and tell you which stars are Mars planets in our solar system. Like that's how into it I was. Like I can take a telescope.
You could see stars. You could see constellations. You could see what they call planets. You could see them as lights. You could not look through a telescope and see what they show you. That is bullshit.
I'm telling you, you could see it for yourself. And when I show you that, it will be an example of the power of the sun. Is all I'm doing. And it's not disproving your flat Earth theory.
You are incorrect. Because you will see them better without the sun.
I'm not going to sit here and say you're incorrect, okay? Because
they're just
you
lights.
can't prove anything you're saying. I can't prove anything I'm saying, so how can we say we're wrong?
I'm saying that's not going to prove it to me.
I'm giving you a way of proving it to ourselves.
No, you're not giving me a way to prove it.
Why not? You think they're
seeing a
lights.
light through a telescope is not going to prove that it's a
You're
planet.
not getting this. A light through a telescope doesn't happen. A light on the ground looking up with your eyeballs, that is a starlight, is what you see, is what we've been told, a starlight. Now you take a telescope and zoom in on certain stars that are in our solar system, they disappear as the light being projected and you see the object because you're closer to it through a telescope.
You see a light.
You
don't see an object.
You see
a
the surface of the object lit up by the sun.
No, you see a light. I've looked through telescopes. Okay. You see a light.
What you're looking at is far, far away galaxies. I'm telling you, if you focus on...
Whoa. So you look through a telescope and you see a light of something? What says that's a galaxy? What tells you that that's a galaxy?
Be careful. Unless you can disprove the solar system right now, you can't go
So you see a light through a telescope...
Let's stay within our solar system is what I'm getting at. Not every star you see in the sky at night is something that's in our solar system. Okay? There's stars out there that are so bright, they've been projecting light for millions of years to be able to be seen.
But if you look through a telescope and you see that light, what tells you that that's a solar system?
Okay, God. Okay.
Where is the proof that is a solar system?
That. Okay, we're getting ignorant with this because...
No, we're not
you're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm not saying to stare at random lights. Like, hey, there's a fucking star. Let's point the telescope at that. That's a planet.
No,
you
bullshit.
You won't be able to see that.
Bullshit. You take fucking any object you want to look out there and look at it through a telescope and you see what you see through it, correct?
You're not even listening to me. I've said it 3 times now and I'm going to have to say it a 4th time. I'm not talking about the light. Light is what you see with your eyeballs. When I focus in on a specific light in the sky with your eyeballs from standing on the planet's surface, when I take a telescope on the specific one that I know is Venus, because I can pinpoint it every single fucking time at nighttime, I aim a telescope at it, you will not see a light when you look at it.
What will I see?
You will see a lit up surface, just like you look at the moon when it's lit up from the sun.
But how do I know that's a planet? How do I know it's not just a fucking lit up light?
I'm not going to say it's a planet because that's going into vocabulary. I'm going to say it's a mass object like you would call our moon. Our moon is a mass object.
It's some kind of light, though, correct?
No.
Well,
it's reflecting. I don't know how many times I have to say it. It's reflecting light from our sun. Sun's in the middle.
How do you know it's from the sun? How do you know it's not reflecting light from something else?
What other light source in our solar system? Where's another light source? That's what I'm saying.
You're looking at it from one fucking perspective.
You're telling me what I saw.
No, I'm telling you, you're looking at it from what you've fucking been told your whole life.
No.
Really?
I'm telling you.
How do you know?
Because
how do you
said,
know?
Hey, look through this telescope. And you look through it and you see this big ball floating and you're like, what's that? And they say it's a planet.
How do you know it's just not a frequency of light?
A ball floating in a vacuumless space being a frequency
How do you know it's a vacuumless space? Can you see it?
Okay, besides the vacuumless space.
Can you see the vacuumless space?
You're asking questions. You already know the answer. You can't see vacuumless space.
No shit. So
air.
How do you know?
Can you see air? I mean...
So how do you know it's a vacuumless space and not just a fucking light?
You're branching off. This is...
Patrick, this is what I'm talking about.
Stick with one thing. You were talking about light. Now you're talking about a vacuumless space.
No, you're talking about a vacuumless space. I'm talking about it's all light. It's all frequencies of light. That is exactly what I'm talking about.
That's how our eyeballs work. That's how you see things. That's how we see this table here, is because the light being portrayed off of it, and then we see the object.
You can see it.
Our eyes pick up light signature.
Correct.
On a certain spectrum.
Absolutely correct.
That is correct.
But how do you know that light is a planet? How do you know it's not a fucking light?
Because this eyeball's fucking seen it, and then it's been put inside my memory.
You're right. It's been put inside your brain since you fucking were 3 years old.
Since I saw it with this fucking eyeball is what I'm saying. Not what I was taught in the textbooks and taking tests on. I'm talking about what Patrick saw through a device looking into the sky. Like, hey, there's our moon. Okay, let's move over to this fucking star. Okay, that's a planet.
What did you see through that telescope, though?
I told you. I've seen Saturn and the rings of Saturn. With my own eyes.
Could you tell that it was a planet?
I saw a mass object. I don't know how many times I got to say this.
A mass object
that I was told was a planet. A mass object in space. That's all you want me to say. I know it's why. I'm not saying it. and you're getting mad at me because
I'm not
I don't want to
getting mad at all.
I've told you
I'm
keeping
loving
my
this
beliefs
conversation
out of this, and I'm going with what I've seen, just like you said.
You saw a mass object of light that what you told was a planet.
You're twisting my word. It's reflecting light.
Oh.
Not producing light.
But you didn't see any light off of it.
No, you see a lit up surface. Just like you see right here. Right here in the video, you have a lit section. That's what I saw, was that lit section. Whatever was portrayed from our sun to that planet's surface. I'll say planet now, whatever. Planet means mass object.
How do you know there's a mass to it, though?
Because it's there. Anything that has existence has mass.
So light has mass?
Just like this microphone, the beer.
So the light that's going from our studio lights to us has mass?
We're talking about objects, and now you're talking about light.
Our studio lights are objects.
The light bulbs themselves have mass.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Without the light bulbs, where does the light come from? See?
So let me ask you this.
Twist it around too.
So are those studio lights?
Okay, you're talking about.
Are those studio lights planets?
Going to different things now.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. You have to look at it a different way.
This is what I see with all flat Earth arguments: is the bouncing around. You can't just stick with one topic. It branches off. They teach you in the videos to branch off. I've seen it while I've been researching all these videos. They teach you how to branch off. That's why, like this video right here, if I keep playing it, we've only been 2 minutes in, and he's already went over 2 different major topics.
Yeah, we're going to be here for a long time.
That's what I'm saying. But you got to stop branching. We got to say something, and then figure it out. You say something, then figure it out. Okay? So we're going to go right to playing the video, and hopefully he starts talking about the next
Can
topic.
I pee before we go to the next video?
Let's keep going.
Oh, how about I pee?
Let's get one more topic in and finish.
Dude, I gotta fucking piss.
the sacrifices you got. Oh, come on, man,
bro.
Oh, so much. Alrighty, so we're back. Had a little bathroom break, as you heard Joe. I'm not even gonna edit it out because hopefully at this point we should be able to go to what we were originally promising in the beginning of the channel, where we were doing the raw episodes without uncutting.
Dude, just play the damn video.
Jesus, man. Dictator over here.
Taco Bell.
Alright, so pretty much we're going to get back into it and play the video. The sound's not working.
I think we can all agree that it is the sun circling above us, not the other way around.
Alright, we're already done talking about the sun for the day. Let's wait till the next topic. Alright, here we go. What about ships disappearing over the horizon? This is one of the questions I always ask.
Yeah.
So, let's hear what he's got to say, and then we'll talk about it.
Ships do not disappear over the horizon, but rather they disappear into the horizon, with the vanishing point of perspective. The argument of ships going over the curve can be easily debunked by using telescopes, binoculars, and good zoom cameras to bring ships back into view of the observer. No matter how good the zoom is on the camera, ships will never be able to be brought back into view.
Well, okay, look at the view from what he's saying. Okay, right off the bat, it looks like he's using a digital camera zoomed in all the way. Okay, it's kind of depixelized, so that's not a telescope right off the bat. And if it was a telescope, you'd have a lot clearer image. But I'm sorry, but I've been out in the ocean many times, and that is not the bottom of a buoy.
They're not telling you you can see the bottom of the buoy.
That buoy right there?
You're not going to see the bottom of a buoy or the bottom of a boat because there's waves.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, what I'm getting at is like how...
Not,
man, I don't have it like
I know what you're getting at. Now,
look. See the view. Like, you have the ocean. You could see the ocean portrayed out right here. And he's going to zoom out in a second because I've already seen this. But, like, you can see that plain view of the ocean right there. If that was the case and it was flat Earth and he's standing, so let's say he's an average of 6 feet tall, and he's holding the camera, so he's probably holding it around 5.5 feet up. So that's how he's getting the angle of the flat plane right there. Why does it horizon? See how it horizons and it disappears? If it was flat, we should be able to see it almost indefinitely.
If the Earth was curved, you wouldn't be able to see any of that when you zoomed in.
No, it would be a horizon line like this.
At the distance that they're showing and that he's going to talk about, if it was Earth was curved like they say it was, you wouldn't be able to see any of that.
I don't agree with that.
Okay, well then you're not about the science.
Another thing, like, okay, let's say that ship, he said, goes out of distance, and it would go out of distance, and he said you can bring it back with a telescope.
Yes,
I don't agree with that. I don't think
with your naked eye's perspective, they go out of distance, which means, they drop off the curve. Well, when you get a telescope or a camera with a zoom, you can bring almost the whole thing back into perspective. Now, if you want to do the math on the distances when they do that,
no, I'm not doing math because
that's
going into.
If you want to do the math on the distances and the curvature of the Earth that's supposed to be there, you wouldn't be able to see any of that.
I know that, according to what I've seen. I've never used a telescope. Just saying that right now. So it would be another good test with the telescope when we get one. But I've seen ships sail out of the horizon and then disappear, blah, 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 whatever. Maybe they go out of my vision, whatever. But I know that with a telescope, I believe that you will not be able to bring that ship back into perspective.
But they're showing you it right now. That's not what they're showing you.
No, they're not showing you, because if they're showing you, that's what I'm getting at. All U.S. buoys, if this was videotaped in the U.S. somewhere, that buoy has to be registered 10 feet above the ocean sea level. That right there, the angle, it has 5 foot of...
Yeah, now you're throwing at some dumb shit U.S. crap. We're talking about...
I grew up in the ocean. I have a fishing family. I've seen these buoys with my own eyes. They're giant.
Great.
Look, you can only see the angled part. I'm telling you how they're shaped. They go like this. They're round, spherical... And then they have that cone shape, and then they go to just a round cylinder for about 5 feet of the height. And then at the bottom 3/4 of that, that's where they're bobbing in the water. There's only about a foot of that buoy underneath the water.
What does that have to do with the whole thing? What does that have to do with the whole thing?
He's zoomed in, and half of it's disappeared.
You can't see half of it because of waves.
Look how zoomed in he is. Look at the boat motor. The boat motor's
I'm sorry. Can you see both of those in the picture?
Correct, but I can't see.
Because by the distance and the mathematics, you shouldn't be able to see any of that, but you are seeing it.
At the distance, I'm only losing half of it. Is what I'm seeing at.
Are you doing the math? Because you just told me you're not going to do the math.
I'm telling you that.
Do the math. Is what I'm saying.
There's no math. Math is a belief underneath your system. So math is science. Science, you can't use it to prove anything. So I can't go on that basis.
Now you're just talking like a retard.
No, I'm talking about what I can see. You're saying that I did not see a buoy that the right shape that they make all buoys in that surround the United States. I know that buoy is only half exposed right now, but that boat is not half exposed. That's a full exposed boat.
Okay, by the distance, you shouldn't be able to see either one of them.
There's no math to do. It's perspective.
In a globe Earth, you shouldn't be able to see any of it. But in a flat Earth, you can.
But what we're arguing is, once something goes...
I'm not arguing. Keep playing the video. You're not making any sense.
I'm agreeing with you if it makes sense. So make it make sense to me, because they said that if something goes off the horizon... Once it goes out of sight, out of distance across an ocean, it's still a flat plane, correct, on a flat Earth. Yeah. So it goes out of our eyesight, and they said that you can bring it back into perspective with a telescope, okay? Now, this right here, what you're looking at on the screen, is a zoomed-in digital camera. You'll see it when I hit play. He zooms out. Why is half the buoy missing? He zoomed in. You can see the buoy.
Did you finish watching it?
It's back into perspective. I'm watching.
Okay, let's finish watching.
If they went over the curve.
See the buoy? Look, more's coming in.
See, you're not even watching it.
I'm fucking watching it. Goddamn, bro.
Back it up and start over then.
You're just trying to irritate me now. No. Look, disappeared.
So he zoomed out, you douche.
So, but when he zoomed in, he only got half of it, is what I was saying.
Camera. Ships will never be.
See the ship's behind it.
Into view if they went over the curve.
See how it's flat cylinder?
That the ship.
Why don't you start the beginning of that segment and actually listen?
Not the curve.
I'm not agreeing with this teenager.
You're not even watching it.
Fucking looking at it. See, this is what I'm talking about. You're saying that I'm not seeing something, what I'm seeing with my eyes. Am I describing what I'm seeing incorrectly? Because what I'm saying is I've seen one of these buoys with my own eyes, many of thousands of them. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. That is not all of the buoy. He is zoomed in, right?
Mm-hmm.
That camera zoomed in.
Mm-hmm.
Then why is half the buoy missing?
Well, I've already said that 3 times, but you're not listening.
He zoomed in.
He did zoom in.
And he said if you were to zoom in, you'd bring it back into perspective.
And you do see it.
And I see water line covering half of the buoy.
Okay, so there's 2 things that I just sit there and said that you didn't listen to.
I'm listening. Say it.
Okay, there are waves there, which is going to cause a little bit of disruption of seeing the whole thing.
You can see that in there.
Okay, great. So the other thing is if you want to do the math on the distances of what it should be, you wouldn't be able to see any of those if the world...
You already said we're staying away from math and numbers. So we're going off of what we can see physically and prove with our common sense.
Cool, well then if that's how you want to do it, yeah, Earth's flat. That proves it right there.
But actually, I'm saying...
Now, if you want to do the math, okay, so if you want to take the distance with the curvature, you wouldn't be able to see any of it if the Earth wasn't flat.
It's not that far away yet. You'd only...
Are you sure you don't want to watch the whole video without talking over it?
We've only talked about flat Earth so far. I haven't said anything about round Earth. So now I'm going to say round Earth. Over that distance with a curve, it wouldn't eliminate the entire thing.
Yes, it would.
It's not far enough yet to eliminate it. It's
Yes, it
working
would.
downwards. It starts up, and the horizon comes up to it like this. So at that distance, it's only
you're not
covering
doing the
half
math
of
in
it.
the distance. With what
It's
they
the term
say...
perspective.
Exactly, you're learning his perspective. Good job.
And the perspective.
Now, if you want to do the distance
describing,
and the
you're not
math
listening.
that they give us for the curvature of the Earth, you wouldn't be able to see any of that.
I'm not going by
You're
the math. That's what you're not understanding. You keep reverting back to that. It's a very basic flat Earth thing, and they can't prove it with the math either. Now, with what we can see,
The Earth is flat.
is half the fucking buoy's missing at the distance when it's zoomed in.
No, not half a buoy, only a little bit.
I know that the top of that buoy before the antenna is supposed to be 8 foot minimum out of the water. It's an 11-foot buoy,
that's-
and it sits about a foot in the water because of how
Yeah,
buoyant
and you're
it
just
is.
putting out your own random stuff there.
I've seen them millions of
Cool,
times in the
cool.
ocean.
So
Not millions,
every
thousands.
buoy is the same. You're absolutely correct. That's what you're watching right here is every buoy you've ever seen. You're good. You're doing a good
You
job.
can see it bouncing. It was
That's
before I
right.
could
You're
even
absolutely
see it,
right. You could see it. You could see
I
it.
described the shape of it.
You were
before I could
absolutely
see it.
right. You could see it.
Okay, and then half of it's missing.
Part of it is showing, not showing, because of the fucking.
But the boat went
fluctuating
behind
wind.
it.
And you can see the boat too. You're absolutely right. Good job.
So how tall is that boat? Because some of that boat must be
Don't
missing.
fucking know. I didn't measure the boat when it was at dock. I have no idea.
Just saying what we can see.
Yeah, you can see that there's no fucking curve, dude. Jeez Louise.
I'm just saying, in a flat plane, it shouldn't be dropping. Dropping is the only way it would describe I'm only seeing half of the object.
But now you don't want to do the science and the math, okay?
I'm saying based off of eyesight and perspective, fuck science. What you can see. With your
Perspective,
eyeballs.
it disappears. But you bring it back in a microscope, you can see it. But
Only
then,
at an elevated surface. And the only way we can prove
And
this,
which part
we've
does-
already determined it, is to when we get our telescope, we go to the harbor and fucking watch a boat sail off into the distance.
But which part of
and
that-
if it disappears from our eyesight and we use the telescope to try to bring it back,
and which part of that video said anything about elevated surface? Nothing.
I'm saying that he's incorrect on a telescope bringing it back into perspective.
Well,
Because the only way you'll be able to get it back to perspective, because it wrapped
then,
around
well,
a
then
curve.
you're going to get a lot of negative comments
You're not
on
even
this.
letting me finish, man. I let you talk, and you don't let me talk. That's basic Flat Earth 101 right there. I see it in every fucking video. They all get
Oh, yeah.
mad and talk over each other.
I'm not mad, though.
It's like you Flat Earth people enjoy fucking pushing our buttons or something. Because it's like, when something goes over the horizon, okay, when it goes out of our eyesight, when it wraps around the curvature of the Earth, there is no possible way that telescope's going to bring it back into perspective for eyeballs to see it. We'll only be able to see the top half of it until it continues to go further to disappear into the ocean. That's what I'm saying.
Correct.
And then the only way to bring it back into perspective to correct the dude would be to go to an elevated source, like a deer hunting stand. To get a better view of the deer, you go to a higher distance. Why would you ever do that on a flat plane? Because your eyesight can only see so much, but if you go higher, you can see further.
Exactly. Why would you do that? And that's not what they're doing.
But elevating-
You just proved the whole point, right,
No.
with what you said.
I did not.
No one's going at a higher elevation But
he's not bringing it back into perspective.
He just did.
The object wasn't far enough over the horizon.
How do you know?
Because I could still see the object.
But it disappeared from perspective, correct?
He was using a digital camera. His example was a telescope.
But did he bring it back? Yes or no?
Half of it.
Did he bring it back? Yes or no?
Half of it.
Did he bring it back? Yes or no?
I've said it 20 times, half of it.
Next segment. We're not arguing.
Why can't I see across the oceans is the next segment.
We've already told you why. Next segment.
Look at this.
Just because the Earth
the perspective
is flat,
matrix
does not mean that your eyesight is infinite. The human eye can only see a certain amount of distance on a clear day, and even less on a cloudy day. It would be impossible to see across an entire ocean because the human eye
promoted
cannot
by
see
cigarettes.
It has everything to do with perspective and nothing to do with the curvature of the Earth.
So he said the only reason we can't see...
Shut up. We're listening.
That's what he said. I'm just elaborating.
You have no idea what he said because you were talking the whole time.
He said the only reason we can't see across the ocean to the other...
Why don't you start back to begin the segment?
Once again, cut me off. I'm talking. He said, to reiterate...
I don't know what he said. You were talking.
I wasn't talking. He said like one...
I don't know what he said. You were talking.
Perspective.
I'm getting angry.
Why
can't I see across the oceans? Quiet time.
Thank you.
Just because the Earth is flat, that does not mean that your eyesight is infinite. The human eye can only see a certain amount of distance on a clear day, and even less on a cloudy day. It would be impossible to see across an entire ocean because the human eye cannot see that far. It has everything to do with perspective and nothing to do with the curvature of the Earth.
And now why I was trying to pause it right there is because he showed that perspective model, and it disproves what he was talking about in the first part. Right here. The perspective matrix. Okay? So if an object is over here on a flat plane, and it goes out of sight, changing your perspective would be your elevation.
Yeah, he never said anything like that.
Well, look, it's showing you the perspective matrix. He's showing you the diagram. See the elevation? See, if you go up here, you'd be able to see.
Yeah,
further.
but he never said anything about changing the elevation. You're just.
But look, this is the flat Earth perspective matrix. Okay, look at it. They're saying that even if you change your elevation, you can only see to the same distance. That's not true.
It's called the horizon. It's called line of eyesight.
That's not true, though, because like if you're standing in New York City looking down a street that's completely empty that you can't see the end of, when you get on top of one of the I'm saying, as an example, if you stand on top of a skyscraper and stare down that same street from the skyscraper point of view, you will see an increased amount of distance.
That's just your uneducated opinion.
No, that's
you have no proof of that. You have no proof of that.
Okay, well I know that if you get into a hunting stand versus shooting a deer from the ground,
those are two different things.
I can see a lot farther where the deer is. I can get a longer shot on a deer from a deer stand than I can from a flat ground.
Yeah, sure.
That disagrees completely with this.
No, that's just what you're reading into it personally.
I'm talking about from personal experiences here. I told you,
I'm
keeping my bias out of this.
That's fine, but you're talking about two different things. No. You're talking about elevating yourself. They're not talking about elevating.
Perspective. Look, it shows here in this diagram.
You're the only one talking about elevating yourself.
Look at the stages. Look, perspective. It shows his eyesight in a straight line. And they're saying that even if he raised his eyesight to the top of whatever this conjurant is, he would only be able to see to that same point. That's not true.
Actually, it kind of is.
Not true.
Okay.
Okay, so when you fly in a plane...
Okay, Patrick.
No. I'm saying, because you've been on a plane.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about when you get super high up. I'm talking about when you get a couple thousand feet off the ground. When you could start to see cities, you see the outlines of properties, you see all the roadway. That's way further than you can see on the ground.
Cities.
You see outlines of properties and stuff like that. You can see.
Yeah, it's not Google Earth, dude. Not from a plane. You just see stuff.
I don't think you looked out the window when you're on a plane.
Well, I've looked. It's not fun.
I'm not talking about when you get up to 30,000 feet and you're above the cloud line. I'm talking about you've just taken off, you're watching yourself leave the airport kind of deal. They do the couple loops around over the airport, and then they get their direction, and then they take off.
Yeah, the only planes I've been on, they like when they take off, they go straight to where they're going. They don't loop around the airport.
There's always a climb. Yeah, you got to start from altitude 0, wherever they lock the cage to go to 30,000 feet, whatever cruising altitude they plan on running.
Okay, so
there is an elevation climb. In between you getting above the cloud line, that's where you can see it. Like if you're skydiving, you're looking down at the earth flying towards it.
Okay.
You see a lot more than you do when you're on the ground.
That's
correct?
Yes.
You've changed your perspective. You've elevated yourself, and you're able to see more. That's what I'm getting at. That's what perspective is. When you're talking about eyesight and distance.
Okay, so...
That's what I'm saying. What he's saying is your eyesights are only limited to a wall-less boundary, which means you can't see past a certain limit. And that's not true.
And even if you go higher, you still can't see past a certain limit.
Bullshit. If you're
the limit changes, but there's still a limit.
Like, let's say, for shits and giggles...
The higher you go, you can see farther, but there is still a limit.
But it is increased with elevation.
Correct.
Why? That right there goes with the round.
But when you're standing in the same spot and bringing a boat back into view, you're not changing your elevation with a telescope.
I really don't think that's going to happen when we test that. I believe on what I've...
All right, can we get some donations? Because I really need this microphone.
We need a telescope, people. You got to help us.
Douchebag.
I'm not being a douchebag. We're trying to understand this.
I understand it completely.
And I just keep getting like you're telling me I'm wrong when I'm just trying to understand and elaborate what I've learned.
All right, go on to the next one because I don't want to be mean and I'm sorry. I apologize.
Just because the Earth is flat, that does not mean that your eyesight is infinite. The human eye can only see a certain amount of distance on a clear day, even less on a cloudy day. It would be impossible to see across an entire ocean because the human eye cannot see that far. It has everything to do with perspective and nothing to do with the curvature of the Earth.
Weather balloon. We need to buy a weather balloon. The WJPE weather balloon satellite camera.
Yeah, if we had enough money, that'd be great.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
On the flat Earth model, circumnavigation simply means traveling east to west. If you go east for long enough, you will end up back where you started, and the same goes for west. Ferdinand Magellan's journey, which was credited west.
Really quick, this is what I was talking about earlier with the top view. This is one of those good models. You can see the cutouts that I was talking about. Like, see, that's actually one of the legs from the real model of Antarctica. Then you got another square right here, and if you piece all that together when you wrap it back around, you get exactly what you see on the globe that we've created for our GPS systems to abide by. That's all I was saying about that earlier.
You're half right.
Back where you started, and the same goes for west. Ferdinand Magellan's journey, which was credited as the first circumnavigation of Earth,
that's a good one.
Just circled from east to west around the flat Earth. This doesn't prove that the Earth is flat or spherical, because it can work for both models.
What about Felix, whatever, Red Bull jump? Oh, I watched that. The dude that did the jump off of
Okay, let him watch the whole segment before you say anything.
From 128,000 feet, you can notice that the outside cameras are wide-angle lenses, while the inside cameras are not.
Nope.
I have to pause it. I have to.
No, you have to
because people need to understand, because I'm getting into video editing now. Okay, so I see these things.
They don't want to see your video edit. They want to watch the whole thing before you comment on it.
Correct. I'll rewind it and then play it over again. I don't care. But listen, the fisheye lens works both ways. If it creates a curve, it can also cancel out a curve based off the angle it's looking at, whatever object is being videotaped.
That's not helping your cause.
A fisheye lens, like if I held it right here and kind of had you at the edge of it, your face would be warped. But if I went like this and warped it, I can make you look like a curved Earth. That's what I'm saying. A fisheye lens goes both ways.
Let him watch the segment before you comment on it.
You can notice that the outside cameras are wide-angle lenses, while the inside cameras are not. In other words, the outside cameras have added curvature, but the inside cameras show a flat plane through the window. Not only that, but he lifted off from New Mexico, where already the curvature from the cameras started early on, and all we see in the view is New Mexico. Either the whole Earth is New Mexico, or it is a wide-angle lens. Notice how the Earth isn't spinning either.
You can't see it spinning that.
I don't have an opinion about this segment.
What is underneath the flat Earth? That's a good question.
I already know this answer.
This question is not possible to be answered because no human being knows what is underneath the Earth. The farthest any human being has ever dug is 8 miles, so not even heliocentrists know what's inside the Earth. When people think of a flat Earth, they think of a disk in outer space, but the whole concept of outer space is ludicrous with the baller theory. Many ancient cultures across the plain support the notion of Earth being held upon pillars, but the fact of the matter is, no one can ever know for sure what is beneath the Earth.
Pause. Okay, so I've watched something else. I've watched many other videos actually that say the furthest that we've ever dug is 8 miles down.
That's what he just said.
Okay. I've watched other videos that have also said we have only dug 8 miles down. Now, here's my thing. How do we know that we've only dug 8 miles down?
Okay.
So, how do we know that we've only dug 8 miles down? That's what we were told, correct?
Correct.
There's no science involved in that.
But there's a hole somewhere.
There's no science involved in it. That right there is
when,
only by what we have been told. And that's not science. Correct? We could have dug very well, much deeper, or whatever. There's no science involved in that one. I'm going to give it that.
Yeah, they just dug a hole.
Okay, but that's just by what someone says.
I thought you were going to go off of something different, like what was I going to say?
No,
I thought you were going to say how do we know what's beyond that 8 miles? And I was going to go into something like I thought you were trying to go into that, but
oh no, I'm objective when it comes to this. There's nothing that's proved that we've only fucking dug 8 miles.
No, we could have been further. It could have been less.
From other things that I've seen on other stuff, I won't get into that. We've dug further, yep. But there's nothing that says we've only dug 8 miles.
From the way I understand. Okay, now we're kind of going into my beliefs here, but this is what I would like to believe of how the Earth functions and creates thermo heat energy, which would make up our atmosphere. Is we have a molten core at the center. Okay, the only reason we know things like that is beyond. Let's say they've only gotten 8 miles. The only reason we're able to determine things below that 8 miles is something I know that you hate me saying is carbon dating. We're able, like, you got to look at Earth like it's an ever-growing onion that's shedding layers. It's always growing, and kind of everything from the center eventually will make its way outwards.
But that's not carbon dating.
Well, like I'm describing, everything's growing and working its way from the center outwards. That's how we get diamonds. Diamonds come from the magma and
diamonds come from pressure. Supposedly.
Pressure created at the density of our planet, supposedly. That's what we're told.
From what they're told.
That's what we're told.
Okay,
but
so you're
the
also
way diamonds
told...
come up is they work their way up through those layers over time. They use time to pass through. I don't know the exact, chemistry on how the ground grows or how the planet does that. But I'm not getting into that, but I'm just saying that's where we're taught that diamonds come from, is like from the center of the Earth, from the pressures of the molten
hundreds of thousands of years of pressure, correct?
Correct. That's
something like that.
That's
all right,
I
have another issue with the timeline of everything they're giving. What year is this?
2018.
Okay, great. So 2018 AD is 2018 years after death. After death of what? Jesus? By what the Bible shows, correct? Is that correct?
I'm not going to say for certain.
Is that correct?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
Nobody knows.
I've heard rumors that was when Jesus was born, was when it reset. I don't
AD means
know.
after death. which means after the death of
after
Jesus.
the death of Jesus.
So Jesus supposedly lived 30-something years. So 2018 plus 30 years is 2,048 years. But there were a few years before Jesus was born that Adam and Eve were here. So there really, biblically, has not been millions of years on this earth. It's all bullshit.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's all bullshit.
According to the paleontologists of this planet, they can't date humanity past 300,000 years. That's according to the fossils that we've given. But they left a leniency way between 1 million years and 300,000 years. And they know that it can't exceed 1 million years, that humans in our form and our intelligence, since our brain size doubled in our skeletons.
So right there, you're telling me something
I don't believe we came from monkeys. I know you're getting at.
Hold on a second. No, you don't know what I'm getting at. You're telling me a figure of how many years, but within the books that we were taught in school, they say more than that. And I say, and I don't know, this is what I believe, you have 2018 years after death right now. So Jesus
died 2018 years ago.
No. Correct. Yes, correct.
According to what we're talking.
And he was on the earth for only 30 years.
Correct.
30-something years. So you're talking
young middle-aged man.
2,050 years on this planet since Jesus was born. But before that, yes, there was Adam and Eve and this and that, and God sent his only begotten son down here. But that couldn't have been very long. So there's no fucking million years involved. There is no Big Bang Theory. There is no evolution. There is no shit. Everything that we are told contradicts itself. Everything contradicts itself. This is the point. This is the fucking point.
Basically,
so carbon dating, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's not 100% accurate. There are things involved. Yeah, you can go ahead and cut a tree open and you have the rings. And yeah, there is some bits of carbon dating, but there is no fucking way that this earth has been here for millions of years.
Billions.
No.
Billions.
There's no fucking way. And they're also starting to come out and say that fucking
4.5 billion years.
No. Not fucking happening.
And according to the discovery of the Big Bang Theory, we really need to understand that we've only really been digging into space for about 20-something years now. Accurately, since the Hubble telescope got put into place. And I know you do, we got some conspiracies behind that.
No.
But when they were, this is where they came up with it. When they looked through the Hubble telescope, they implemented different ways to see light spectrums. Because we figured out.
Dude, you're being fucking bullshitted, man. They're trying to cover their asses.
Let me finish. I bit my tongue. Let me talk. They implemented into the Hubble telescope multiple ways to view different spectrums of light, okay? And when they did that, they added what we had at the time, which was gamma, X-ray, microwave, and something else, and then what we see through our naked eye kind of deal. Now, when they went through microwave vision through the telescope, this is where they got the evidence for the Big Bang. Because when they started looking through...
I'm sorry, dude. I don't want to be a dick. I really don't want to be a dick.
This is what the whole world tells us.
What little fucking tiny aspect of truth did they fucking show you to prove that?
I've seen the images, but you're not going to say the images are real.
What proof?
I'm telling you,
Their fucking images are not proof.
That's a base of self-belief and opinion. Because I didn't take the pictures, you didn't take the pictures, so how do we know? Okay? So...
Cliff shit his pants.
Listen, let me finish. Let me finish. So when they viewed the universe from what we could see through the Hubble telescope, which expanded our vision a lot further, they used microwave vision, and they kept on picking up a certain light wave frequency they couldn't figure out. And it was the strongest when they looked in a certain direction. And when they finally pinpointed it, they sat there, researched it for years, and they figured out that it was what was the nuclear, or not, I can't say nuclear, okay. God, how do I describe this?
You can't because
I'm not
you
an
have
astrophysicist. There's words for this.
You're not an astrophysicist.
I don't know the answer.
They didn't fucking show you any proof. That's why you can't describe it, dude.
You're just telling me I'm wrong.
You are.
I'm not saying I haven't said that once to you. That's what I'm getting at.
You cannot describe it. You cannot say anything because the
videos taught you how to talk like that.
No, Patrick.
Talk like an
intelligent. It's not the videos.
You're yelling at me.
Okay, so
see, I'm not the guy making you mad.
You can't describe it because they have not given you any motherfucking proof. That's why you can't describe it.
You're allowed to have your opinion. That's your God-given American right. Well, that's why this whole
can you tell me what proof they give you to show you?
I told you it was images. That's what the Hubble telescope produces is images. That's why we designed it. It's a big-ass fucking digital camera orbiting our planet. I know that makes you mad, but let me finish what I was saying. That light frequency that they were picking up was the leftover remnants.
What's your sister's name?
Of the original explosion. And
what's your sister's name?
I don't have a fucking sister.
But I could show you a picture of me fucking your sister.
And that's an opinion because that's what you think.
I say, hey, Patrick.
Is that reality?
Patrick,
no.
This is your sister, and I'm fucking her.
I'm pretty sure with the advancements in technology, once we get a proper telescope, they have the coordinated time. I can show you the Hubble telescope with the telescope, is what I'm saying.
No, you can't.
I'm trying to tell you.
Have you seen it?
Dude.
Have you seen the Hubble?
Please, in the comments section, tell me if Joe is stumbling all over me. I mean, I haven't called him wrong once.
Have you seen the Hubble telescope through a telescope?
Me personally, no, but I know that there is a way to time it out properly and get the right coordinates and everything to actually take an image of it passing by. Because you can't see it with your naked eye because it's passing so fast. But if you hit a snapshot and the shutter vision and take multiple layered images...
How do you know it's traveling that fast? How do you know that?
Okay, if all of those calculations are correct and I take the picture...
They're not correct.
Listen, goddamn, bro. Let me talk. If I follow exactly what, let's say, God damn, I can't even use NASA. NASA's going to give me the exact coordinates to stare at the sky at the exact time. I do that, not knowing what I'm going to see. Take the picture at the exact nanosecond they tell me to take it, and then we see an object. What are the odds of me looking randomly up and finding that satellite?
Can you do that for me?
I'm telling you, we can.
Can you do it for me, please?
Yes, with the proper equipment.
What's the proper equipment?
A telescope.
Get a telescope.
I'm not wanting to buy.
Give me the dollar amount, and I'll
right
find a way to raise the money for the telescope. And I need you to show that to me. I need you to prove that shit to me.
Because I've seen this shit before. Like,
no, you haven't. You don't have a telescope.
I've seen the ISS space station in images.
Haven't.
Yes, I have, from a telescope.
No, you haven't.
Yep, during the last lunar eclipse when the sun was...
Where's your fucking telescope?
Just like all the YouTube videos that change you to a flat Earth believer.
Where is the telescope? Where is the telescope?
YouTube, goddammit, let me fucking talk.
That's not a fucking telescope.
Okay, the guy wasn't using a fucking telescope and used the exact coordinates that NASA gave him, snapped a whole bunch of pictures, went back and looked at the pictures, and oh, god damn it, there's the fucking ISS space station.
You need to see this through your own fucking eye.
I did do a video, just like you got switched to a flat Earth believer. See, I can nitpick your shit too and be a dick, but I'm not going to. I'm trying to have a conversation.
I'm going to tell you one thing right now.
I'm
going to tell you one thing right now. I cannot see a picture of the flat Earth through a YouTube video. I cannot see a picture of a global Earth through a YouTube video.
But yet you believe in the flat Earth. See?
What's the reasoning for that?
Because you've seen more videos on it.
If the Earth is flat, that means there's a dome above the Earth, which means we cannot get out of the atmosphere to take a fucking picture.
There's no dome.
There's no picture either.
Nothing's ever hit the dome. The only evidence that the flat earthers have of anything hitting a dome is a rocket they sent up spinning, and then it was spinning, and then it stopped spinning and started falling towards the ground.
Are you sure that's the only evidence they have?
That's the only one that they use on the internet that I found.
How many nuclear devices?
We're not talking nuclear yet. We're still talking about things you can see with your eye.
Because you can actually go to the military shit and NASA shit and see those.
But that's what I'm saying. How can you trust that if you don't trust anything else you've seen? Because if you don't trust NASA, how do you trust the military? You don't trust the government. How do you trust the military?
I don't trust them
NASA?
either. But here's the thing that I do trust. There's
what you can see, and that's what I'm giving you is examples of what you can do for yourself.
You're absolutely right. I don't trust those videos.
And you get mad at me for explaining ways you could prove it to yourself.
You're absolutely.
If I'm wrong, prove it to me that way. That's what I'm getting.
You're absolutely right. I don't trust any of those things, but this is what I do trust, and it's two parts, both ways. One, there is no picture of a flat Earth.
There's nothing of a round Earth if you're going.
There's no picture of a round Earth. Why?
I believe that's opinion based. I believe that there's fucking billions of pictures of fucking round Earth. Because there's actually satellites and stuff that are portraying images every 15 minutes live feed to the China. I think it's a Chinese satellite, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
and
so
also there's the Discovery satellite.
I need
that's
every single
based.
person that views this video. I need more subscribers. I need more people to comment on exactly what Pat just said, please.
I never said
I am not.
You made me say that, though.
I want
you made me say that.
Everybody to comment on what he just said.
I'm talking about what you can see with your own eye through a telescope, and he's making me use Hubble telescope pictures and stuff like that. Satellites.
Nope, that's not what you just said.
I'm talking about a telescope with your own eye.
I said one thing. Two parts. There is no picture of a flat Earth, and there is no picture of a round Earth.
So because there's no picture of either, why would you believe in either one?
Let's use some common sense.
Why? Until the proof is there for either one of them, why would you believe in either one of them?
There won't be proof.
Then why would you believe in a flat Earth? You're dedicated to the flat Earth.
Correct.
That means you believe in it.
Two reasons,
You just said you don't believe in it.
And I'm going to give you two reasons. One is there is no picture of the flat Earth, just like there cannot be a picture of a round Earth. Because we cannot get into space to take a picture of either one. Number two, there are people to this day and age, in over many years past and right now, they're actually proving that the Earth is fucking flat.
They say that, but every time I look into those proofs, they're bullshit. And the biggest ones they use is, like I said, that rocket that they shoot up. I've dug into it the same way you dig into it, watching YouTube videos and scanning the internet.
Controlled opposition.
Every time I talk.
What rocketed?
It's the only proofs. Those are the most valuable ones they have, and I don't see them working because it's complete bullshit in the views that you get. There was one video where they snapped the GoPro onto a fucking model rocket, shot it up as high as they could, and it was spinning like crazy.
Yeah, you're not even close.
And then it supposedly hit something, stopped spinning, and then came back down to Earth.
Oh no, there's dozens more videos of where they actually
use. Could have been a bird.
The Salt Lake Flats fucking test. There's tests all over the world of flat areas where they've proven it.
But I've looked into all those, and I haven't seen one of them that works.
You have not looked into any of them because if you did, you would find out that most of them do work.
Not one of them.
You haven't looked at them.
You got to send me one of them that works then, because I will research it.
Pat, I have. Don't watch them.
I've been researching this shit for months, trying to just
Salt
get ready
Lake
for
Flats,
this conversation.
Salt Lake Flats, Great Lakes.
What's with the Salt Lake Flats? What is it?
Watch it and find out. That's
What's
what
the
I'm talking
experiment?
about.
Because I'm able to explain experiments.
Flat Earth.
Okay.
No curvature over 100 miles.
Then explain how that video that I showed you with an example of a laser shooting across a lake, it raised amongst the further distance that the boat went across the lake.
Inches.
Feet. Started off at the bottom and then went up to 8 feet, and they had to add another board to it, and they only went 3 miles away from it.
You just proved it. Only 3 miles.
3 miles of an 8-foot distance in elevation. The boat was disappeared in 3 miles, but the laser was still hitting. Lasers shoot in a straight line.
Inches.
Straight line.
It was inches.
Feet.
I watched the video. It was inches.
It was a Discovery
I watched the video. It was inches.
I'm telling the people right now, it was a Discovery Channel test. You can look it up yourselves. It was a green laser that they shot.
Discovery Channel.
They used a helicopter and a boat. That should be plenty of a description for our viewers to look at it.
It was inches.
It is not inches. We're going to watch it after we're done recording.
Over 3 miles. No, I'm not going to watch it. I've already fucking watched it.
Because it's not inches.
Why don't you watch the ones over hundreds of miles?
Because obviously you didn't interpret that very correctly because you're saying inches. I know it was feet.
Hey.
There's a big
fucking
difference.
Waves go way above inches,
in a lake,
bro.
Not an ocean, a lake.
Yes, waves above a lake go way more than inches, bro.
Feet?
There wasn't feet involved.
I promise you, if it's feet, you're going to have to bite your tongue on that.
Listen, I'm telling you the ones to look at, and you're not watching them. That's your own bad.
I watch them, but I'm telling you to watch these ones, and you don't see it the same way I'm seeing it. It's like you're not seeing the facts. You're so irritated and stuck with the flat earth, but you're watching it, you're just like, this is bullshit. I could say the same thing every time I turn on one of these videos, but I don't do that. I try to sit here and look at it from their perspective, and that's all I've done tonight. And I've been getting shit from you. I haven't once said you were wrong tonight.
Because you've told me I'm not wrong.
Told me countless times.
Because you're starting to fucking realize. No. And
I told you. I took my beliefs out of this conversation.
I understand.
You didn't.
I understand. It's going to take you a little bit.
No, you need to learn your vocabulary to have a proper,
intelligent conversation. I have amazing vocabulary.
Then why are you cutting over me every time we talk?
I'm not.
It's a very, very... They teach you it in these videos. Not this one specifically, but the psychological connection between these videos. They teach you how to talk like that. That's all it is.
It's not psychological, Patrick.
You got to learn to elaborate on one topic instead of branching off. The branching is what confuses everybody because you're running around thinking about multiple things instead of focusing on one certain topic.
I'm not branching off.
Prove this one topic and then go to the next
That's
one.
What I'm actually doing, and you're getting frustrated. But at the same time, you're starting to see stuff. That's why you're...
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm viewing it from a flat earth perspective. I can't believe I'm saying this for a fucking 8th time. I'm viewing it as a flat earther.
Your mind
that way I'm able to communicate with you without arguing, but that's not even working. Get it?
It's okay.
I'm taking my bias out. You're not. You're not having an intelligent conversation about this.
I'm having a very
and this is the problem I see with
conversation.
every podcast, everybody that does a video on anything to do with this. This happens to every single person. Is because people talk over people. You put your ego into the conversation and you get mad. You get mad at what I'm saying. That's opinion based. As soon as you start thinking involved. Like that. Well, when you start cutting me out and getting angry.
It's real science and mathematics.
When this gets posted, you'll see it. You'll see yourself getting angry while I'm talking. You can't do that. Look at it from an intelligent point of view and have an intelligent conversation.
If I was angry, I can't remember the first time in this whole segment that I've said the word fuck.
Oh, you said it a couple times.
Did I?
A couple.
Oh.
More than a couple.
We really
Probably
need to
a couple
start.
Pairs of
well, we really need to start getting intelligent viewers or any viewers at all.
I'm just saying you got to do it like I'm doing and take your bias out of it. Also, look at it from my perspective.
My bias is out of it. That's why you know.
Not when you say you're wrong without proving me I'm wrong.
I was talking to you about how you were wrong.
No proofs were said today.
You said leave science and math out of it.
To ourselves.
You told me to leave science and math out of it.
And you tried bringing math back into it.
Math is correct. Science is pseudoscience. But math is 100%. We've already had this conversation. Math.
Alrighty, well, we've done 2 hours, so I think that's a good time to wrap it up. Alrighty. Once again, comment, like, subscribe. Tell us what you think. I don't know. Have a good night. Don't forget to subscribe.
There's this flat.
It's not.